fallout from Rich Rod's firing lead to star quarterback Khalil Tate transferring. Hey, Sean Miller, could it be your coaching style that has your players not wanting to play for you? And Governor Ducey bragged about bringing 17,000 new jobs to Arizona. So where are these invisible jobs? These stories and more next on the 520. Welcome to the 520. I'm Steve Nunez.
I'm Marty Mott of the Fort. Thanks for seeing us again.
We have a lot to get to, so let's jump right into it.
No problem.
The Arizona Wildcats football team held their first meeting Tuesday night since Rich Rod was fired last week. Here's what we do know. Players are strongly supporting interim coach and defensive coordinator Marcel Yates, seen on your left, or a combination of Yates and former Texas A&M coach Kevin Sumlin, seen on your left. Now, the two work together at Texas A&M and are no strangers to each other, but could there be fallout with the most important player on the team? Turns out, reports that quarterback Khalil Tate, keep in mind he's next year's Heisman hopeful, will not leave campus, may be premature. Arizona Daily Star reported Tate's mother said he'll stay in Tucson no matter who the coach is, but not so fast. On his Twitter page, the quarterback responded to versions of the story saying, quote, Khalil didn't say that, his mother did. Uh-oh, trouble and more trouble in paradise.
And can Dave Hickey let this happen? Can he let the only nationally recognized player just unceremoniously trance his way out of here?
You know, it all falls on Dave Hickey because he's the big negotiator right now. He's in charge. A lot of this did not come from him, but he basically has a magic wand to make magic happen and keep Khalil. And what this says, in my opinion, is that Khalil Tate now has a seat at the table. Would you agree?
Yeah, but also, what does this say about Khalil Tate? If he's so very, if he's flaunting his trust fund around all the way up to Dave Hickey about the coaching decision, is he going to trickle down to a diva all the way to his senior year?
Does it matter? You got to keep him. At the end of the day, he has to be.
It does matter. It does matter.
Why?
Because are we going to let this kid dictate the next 3 years of the program?
Okay, yeah. I say yes, and you know why? Because without Khalil Tate, you don't have another quarterback in sight. Dawkins is already talking about leaving for grad school and transferring to another school to play his senior year. Then Rep Rodriguez, Rich Rod's son, he's gone. Bye-bye. And then Donovan Tate, no relation to Khalil Tate, has already left school. I mean, the ship is starting to sink just a little bit.
Boat's leaving shore if you're not on the boat.
You need Khalil Tate at that table. You need to keep him happy. He's a star quarterback, bottom line. Well, does Rich Rod's sexual harassment accuser have him by the hair of his pigskin? Here's why we think she does. Rich Rod has lawyered up big time. He hired Leo Baez, a heavyweight attorney in Phoenix. Baez, seen right there, is an ASU booster with super deep pockets. He's given, check this out, $15 million to ASU over the years, including $10 million for the school to name its law center after him. Ironically, the courtroom battle could look like a heated territorial cup rivalry. The alleged accuser hired a U of A grad who's also a heavyweight booster, Agustin Jimenez, seen right there, paid the U of A for the naming rights to the football team's practice field. Now, someone must have rattled his cage for a booster of his caliber to go after Rich Rod and the U of A's athletic department for $7.5 million. Jimenez also gave his client the green light to respond to Rich Rod's statement that his accuser's claims were baseless and false with this following statement. Quote, and the victim said, complained to the university about Rodriguez's conduct long before the investigation and, in fact, requested a transfer. That request was denied on the basis that a transfer would upset Rodriguez. And she is only responding publicly now because those at fault continue to cause injury by making publicly disparaging and false comments.
Those allegations are so dense against Rich Rodriguez. The allegations are, the settlement is far too grand for the university and Rich Rodriguez to not take this head on.
But he lawyered up. What does that say about Rich Rod and what he's afraid of?
Yeah, it might just be because, exactly like I said, it's very dense allegations. There's a lot of mouths he has to close before his day in court. He needs to hire somebody like that. But like I said, I'm glad that he's taking this head on. It's not getting swept under the rug.
She wants it to get to court because she does not want it to get, or You know what? I'm going to take that back. I don't think she wants it to get to court, even though she's threatening that, because the bottom line is cash is king, baby. The money. All right. Roll Tide. Alabama staged an epic overtime comeback to beat Georgia 26-23, the national title game. It's Bama's 5th football title of the last 9 years. Well, the 5-2-0 would like to congratulate this guy right here, Levi Wallace. He's a fellow Tucsonan and played a big role in the Roll Tide's national title victory. His second with Bama, the defensive back starred at Tucson High.
And he is exceptional. He is quite the kid to see. I played against him. I've seen him play. I've seen him on television. I've seen him in person.
He left you in the dust.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not going to lie. he's a fantastic kid. Great kid to talk to at the least.
And how amazing is this? Arizona, under Rich Rod, didn't pay attention to him. He walked on at Alabama, and now he has 2 national titles.
To say the least. To say the least.
Unbelievable. All right, well, former Arizona athletic director Greg Byrne also won his first football title as Alabama's AD. Byrne was seen walking off the field carrying the game ball. Does Greg Byrne deserve our congratulations?
I'll tell you first off, no, of course he doesn't. That's not his accomplishment. It's the equivalent of he just bought the Rotel can of pasta and he got the 99-cent can of noodles and just threw it all together. That wasn't his accomplishment.
I wholeheartedly agree. Greg Byrne does not deserve a bit or 1 iota of a congratulations, especially from Wildcat fans. You know why? Because right now there are 3 pending lawsuits against Greg Byrne. Sexual harassment, domestic violence, okay? 1 from the track department, 1 from and 2 from the football program now.
Of course,
okay?
of course.
Guess what those lawsuits are totaling?
Up there.
About $15 million.
Yeesh. But we can't bring those up out of spite. Out of spite, are we bringing this up?
But he left Arizona a mess. And as a result, leaving Arizona a mess with $15 million to clean up, he has his fingerprints all over it. I do not want to congratulate him as a Wildcat because why should we?
Yeesh, there he goes again.
All right, we'll move on. Could Sean Miller be the one who needs an attitude adjustment more than his players? Arizona's basketball coach raised serious eyebrows again after the Wildcats lost to unranked Colorado. Here's what he said, quote, "You always want your team to play for you as a coach, and our guys, they really struggle playing for me. They really do," Miller said. He goes on to say, "It's really hard to get our guys to run as fast as they can. That's not them, that's me. I have a hard time reaching our guys. I can't reach them, I really can't. We'll see," Miller said. "We'll either fix it or keep getting our asses kicked."
That's pathetic. That's absolutely pathetic. He's fishing for excuses. He cannot logistically identify a problem or schematically identify a problem. And he can't point fingers at his staff members nor his players. He's fishing for excuses. That's pathetic.
Look, on one hand, I'd like to give Miller the benefit of the doubt. As much as I criticize him, that's coming in a second, but I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt. And here's why. Because he was speaking directly through the media, but to his players. And you have to think that Miller is an excellent, genius communicator as a coach. And you would hope that this would light a fire under his players, you know what, so that it would motivate them to play better, right?
Yeah, but is the problem, can you honestly say that they were not running as fast as they can, they were not doing the best they can, and is it the fault of Sean Miller, or is he fishing for excuses again, and that's not the problem until he labels it as the problem?
But on the other hand, let me criticize him now, okay? If your players aren't playing for you, that's a coach's problem. 1, coaching style, okay? If they don't like to play man-to-man, why is Arizona still playing man-to-man?
I'd like to play man-to-man. It's up to them.
They obviously don't because they get beat off the dribble every time down the court, so they don't like to play man. Implement a zone. Number 2, if his players don't fall for his communication or whatever, maybe he's recruiting the wrong players. They're not responding to him. There's obviously a disconnect. So he has to fix it more than his players. Because I think his players have great ability to go far in this tournament.
His feelings hurt now.
In the NCAA tournament. Now, let's go ahead and get to the Arizona schedule this week. Arizona is going to be taking on the Oregon schools. They have the Ducks on Saturday. Who do you like? You think Arizona's going to bounce back from that Colorado loss?
I think they can take on the Ducks. I don't think the Colorado loss will determine the next few weeks. I think they're fine with it, right?
I think they're angry, and they're going to come back and beat both schools, and we'll move up the
Agreed.
rankings at least up to number 12 again. All right, well, here's a real buzzer beater. U of A's plan to turn McHale Center into a bar during basketball games has been iced. A public protest was filed with the Department of Liquor License and Control to stop the U of A from selling beer and wine during games. Well, an open hearing to consider the matter will now be decided sometime in March. So what does that mean? It means no alcohol sales, at least this basketball season.
You know, disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised.
Why are you disappointed?
Disappointed because, I mean, this was a fantastic business venture for the university, and right now we're about to see exactly how important it was to them. You said this, the projected profit, what was it?
Well, here's the deal. The projected profit could be, I mean, when you fill an arena with 14,000 people and you say just maybe a third of them drink, and you're selling beer $6, $7 a pop, wine $8 a glass, or whatever the case may be, if they can make over $200,000 a year at a baseball game that only draws 3,000, they're looking at making close to $1 million.
How
Okay,
important is that for them
how
to get it?
important is that? They have 3 lawsuits pending against them, valued at about $15 million.
And
They need every penny they can get right now. They have to pinch pennies right now to try and make up some of the losses that could potentially come from settlements or losing some of these lawsuits. This is huge.
It's good to see that somebody else is thinking that way. I'm just glad they're not taking it from the students at the least.
Well, that's probably going to come next year. Wait and see. But you know what? You can bet your bottom line they're going to be at the state, at this hearing, lobbying to get that liquor license.
Of course.
All right. Well, let's jump right into, do we care? After all, we're not just a sports show. We break down community issues, big and small, but sometimes we just have to go there and ask ourselves, do we care? I'll start it off. Well, Governor Ducey bragged about bringing 17,000 new jobs to Arizona in front of 1,200 business leaders during a luncheon. Skybridge, Arizona, which plans to open an air cargo operation, can only vouch for 600 jobs. Do we care?
You know, and that guy, I'm tired of hearing this guy. Every opportunity that he can get his hands on, he's looking for a pat on the back. He's looking for a high five. You know, we're at this point, it's very frequent of him to make these sweeping declarations that he's doing so much for the community, so much for the civilians. I'm not surprised at this. Of course, I don't care about this anymore.
You know, it's hard to take him serious when he can just flat out think that he can say whatever he wants. But here's what's good about it all. 12 News in Phoenix did an investigation and a fact check on him, called him out. All they can account for is 600 jobs. And if Ducey is able to bring 17,000 jobs, that might not happen until 2036. Really? You're touting 17,000 jobs?
Twisting on.
Right?
Jeez.
All right.
Unwanted, unwanted. The city of Tucson. The Department of Transportation has just released a by-the-number special report claiming in 2017, road crews filled 50,116 potholes and paved 963 miles of roadways. Do we care?
You know what that is?
Yeah, that's
I just
us.
hit another pothole and I'm sitting down right here. If the city could fill that many potholes, why didn't they just put all that asphalt together and maybe pave some roads like Stone Avenue to the underpass leading to downtown so that people would drive smoothly into downtown, and maybe it'll bring more jobs or more people want to move downtown without having to hit so many potholes.
Yeah, and you said it. I mean, I don't even know where those things are. Where did they fill them? Fill them in neighborhoods? I don't know where they filled them inside something. I'm still seeing potholes everywhere.
You're hitting a pothole as you sit down,
I'm on Campbell. I'm on Golf Links. I'm still seeing those things.
Well, People County released 2017 crime stats showing 17 murders. That's 4 fewer than 2016. City of Tucson did not provide police stats detailing local crime in 2017, but so far in 2018, Tucson police have reported at least 4 murders in the first 10 days of this year. Of course we care about
we
this.
We got to. And I will say firsthand, it is sort of a general consensus around Tucson that the police department does take a little too long to reach urgent calls. They're dealing with so much little things when they got bigger fish to fry. I do think they take a little longer. It escalates before they even get there.
You know, we keep reporting this and we keep hearing this on the scanners every day in Tucson, a shooting somewhere. We had just 3 people who were shot. 1 just died yesterday, which makes it 4 for the year. 2 more have life-threatening injuries. So that number could jump up to 2 more, within the next couple of days. And it just seems like shooting after shooting, it seems like Tucson is becoming little Chicago. You know, I know that's hard.
That's a sweep.
But you know what
there.
though? For this size of city, it's hard to fathom how much crime and how many shootings police are investigating every day. And you know what the Police Foundation came up with? They are calling out the city to fund even more dollars for the police department, because 8 officers a month are leaving the department. You know why? They don't get paid enough. They're going to bigger departments with bigger money, and that's what it's all about.
And that starts all the way down. It's even going to the police department.
All right. Well, you've heard the phrase, "Oh, no, you didn't." Well, here at the 520, we're not afraid to tell it like it is with, "Oh, yes, we did." I'm going to get started first. Well, if it turns out the sexual harassment allegations levied against fired Arizona football coach Rich Rodriguez pan out to be true, then in my opinion, I think it's time to clean house at Arizona. Let me make it clear, no one should be spared. A whole lot of people who saw something but didn't say something should be gone. Coaches, fired. Other administrative assistants, adios. Marketing staff, see ya. Bottom line, all enablers and tolerators allowed a cancerous culture to evolve into the mess that the athletic program finds itself in today. Again, all of them have to be fired. Clean house.
Clean house.
Start all over.
And starting today, besides Rich Rod's firing, the University of Arizona has yet to address the many elephants in the room. Local talent. Wildcat coaches have always seemed to ignore these top-notch athletes who make it big at other schools, and now local quarterback star Jamari Joyner out of Cienega, who's probably the biggest Tucson recruit since Kadeem Carey, is now looking to pass on Arizona. Was once a soft commit, but now he's looking to take his talents elsewhere. UCF, only undefeated team in the land, just offered Joyner a scholarship, and national champions Alabama have a visit scheduled later this month. And after Joyner, to add insult to injury, he was once looking to go to Arizona, but they don't seem to be showing him the same love. It's ridiculous. This is nothing new to the university. They've always failed to recruit local talent. Case in point, Levi Wallace, a Tucson High stud. Arizona let him get away. Now he's a walk-on at Alabama, starting defensive back and a 2-time national champion. Wake up, Arizona, wake up. Start recruiting Southern Arizona's best. Put your foot down now. Let it go from there.
And now that we really don't have a starting or a backup quarterback to Khalil Tate, Joyner is a very important recruit
and I've
for
seen
Arizona.
him play. He looks exactly like him too. They run the quarterback power right up the gut. He looks great.
And he could be Khalil Tate's successor in a couple of years, right? All right. Well, bottom line, our goal is to tell it like it is, because it's all about giving voice to opinions, even if you don't agree. I'm Steve Nunez.
I'm Marty Mott of the Force. Join us next week on the 520.